Questionnaires. We've all filled them out, and a ton of us have probably tried to make one. They're everywhere, in business, in research, you name it. But here's the secret. Making a questionnaire that actually gets you good data, well, that is way, way harder than it seems. So today, we're going to break down how to get it right. So let's be real for a second. Have you ever been, I don't know, maybe 10 questions into a survey and just quit because the questions were a total mess, or they were asking you two things at once? Yeah, me too. And that feeling right there, it points to a huge problem for anyone trying to collect decent information. And this is exactly why this stuff matters so much. There's a saying in data science, garbage in, garbage out. It means the quality of your results can never be better than the quality of your input. If you're asking confusing, biased, or just plain bad questions, the data you get back is going to be, well, garbage. And any decision you make based on it is built on a foundation of sand. Okay, so to even begin writing the right questions, we need to get on the same page about what a questionnaire is actually supposed to be. So let's get a little technical for a moment. A questionnaire is basically a pre-written set of questions. But here's the key phrase you've got to pay attention to, usually within closely defined alternatives. See, this isn't about having a long, open-ended chat. It's about designing questions that give you structured answers you can easily count, compare, and analyze. So you know you need a questionnaire. Now what? The next big choice you have to make is how you're actually going to get it in front of people. And for the most part, it boils down to two main approaches, and each one has some serious pros and cons. And here we see the classic dilemma. If you do it in person, you can answer questions, clear up confusion, and you'll get almost everyone to complete it. Awesome, right? But it takes a ton of time, and you might accidentally influence their answers just by how you explain things. On the flip side, you can send it out online. It's super cheap, super fast, and can go global in seconds. The catch? You're lucky if you even get a 30% response rate, which makes you wonder if the people who did respond are really representative of the whole group. All right, let's get to the good stuff, the main event. How do you actually write the questions? We're going to walk through the 3 most common traps that will absolutely destroy your data. And, more importantly, we'll show you exactly how to avoid them. The double-barreled question. You see this one everywhere. It's when you try to be efficient and accidentally cram 2 different questions into one sentence. You might think you're saving time, but you're really just creating confusion. Just look at this example. Do you think there is a good market for the product and that it will sell well? What if I think the market is huge, but this particular product is way too expensive to sell? How do I answer? Yes, no, there's no right answer. You've just forced me into a corner, and whatever data you get from this is completely unreliable. And the fix, thankfully, is so simple. Just ask 2 separate questions. That's it. First, is there a good market? Then, will this product sell well? Now you get a clean, honest answer to each question, and your data actually means something. Okay, next up, we have the leading question. This is where the wording of your question basically pushes the person to give the answer you want to hear. At that point, you're not collecting opinions anymore. You're just collecting echoes of your own bias. I mean, listen to how this is phrased. It starts with "don't you think," which already signals what the right answer should be. Then it adds all this emotional weight about escalating costs. Who's going to say no to that? You'd sound like a monster. This isn't a question. It's a persuasion tactic. The way to fix this is to just strip out all that pressure. Rephrase it neutrally. Ask, to what extent do you agree, and then provide a scale. This lets people give their real opinion, whether they strongly agree, strongly disagree, or are somewhere in the middle. Now you're getting truth, not just agreement. And our third big mistake is ambiguity. This is when a question is so vague that it could mean 5 different things to 5 different people. Take this one. To what extent would you say you are happy? Happy? When? Happy with my job, my personal life? Happy with the sandwich I just ate? Without any context, one person might answer based on their lifelong satisfaction, and another might answer based on how their morning commute went. The answers are just totally incomparable. And you guessed it, the solution is super simple. Just be more specific. Add some context. By changing it to happy in your workplace, you suddenly made sure that everyone is answering the exact same question. That little bit of clarity makes all the difference. Now, it's not just about the questions themselves. The overall design and flow of your questionnaire can make or break the experience for the person taking it. You have to think like an architect and guide them through it. One of the best ways to structure it is using what's called the funnel approach.
You start off easy with broad, general questions to get them warmed up. Then you slowly narrow your focus to more specific topics. And you save the really tough or personal stuff for the very end. By then, they're already invested and are much more likely to see it through. And speaking of sensitive questions, let's talk about things like income. Here's a golden rule. Never ask for an exact number. It feels invasive. Instead, offer ranges or brackets. People are way more comfortable picking a category than they are writing down a specific personal number. It just feels safer.
And finally, don't forget about the overall look and feel. A good introduction that explains why you're asking these questions is huge. So are clear instructions and a clean, uncluttered layout. Little things like using simple visual scales can make the whole process feel less like a test and more engaging. Okay, you're almost there. You've written great questions and designed a beautiful survey. But before you hit that send button, there are a couple of final checks that are absolutely non-negotiable, especially if you're dealing with different languages or cultures. If you're translating your survey, a direct word-for-word translation can be an absolute catastrophe. Take this famous example from Pepsi. Their exciting slogan, "Come alive with the Pepsi generation," became something a little more terrifying in Chinese. Pepsi brings your ancestors from the grave. Yikes. To avoid this, you use a process called back translation. One person translates it to the new language, then a second person, who hasn't seen the original, translates it back. If it still makes sense, you're good to go. And trust me, this happens all the time. American Airlines wanted to brag about their comfy leather seats in Mexico, but their slogan, "Fly in leather," was translated literally, inviting passengers to fly naked. Now, while it's a funny story, it proves a deadly serious point. Context is everything. You have to get this stuff right. So, to wrap this all up, I want to leave you with one final question to think about. In your own work, what's the single most important piece of information you need to find out? Now think about how you're trying to get that information. After everything we've just covered, are you absolutely positive you're asking the question in a way that's going to get you a real, useful answer?